This has been going on for a long time. It's a battle for global dominance. It's positioning themselves, the companies, the Bitcoin companies, Ripple at the forefront for global dominance. That's important if that price is going to explode. Very important. Listen, who are they going against? Listen, they have to make sure they're in position to be dominant over the central banks. One, they have to make sure that they're in position to be dominant over SWIFT, that SWIFT could never come back. That SWIFT, they know that SWIFT's global reach has been eroded. So they have to ensure that they have this chess piece in place where they can, how can I say it? When they're in a meeting with a company, they can say, we have true global reach. And that's an advantage over SWIFT, who can't say that. They cannot say that. And there's an increasing amount of companies that don't want to work with SWIFT. Now, that's positive in two different ways. We should already know that. How is it positive? In one way, it's positive because maybe SWIFT will be forced to work with us to achieve that global reach. And we'll take some of those trillions off of SWIFT. Yes, it's highly possible. That's why now, even though we've been talking about it for years, you see everyone talking about that. You see how excited Ripple is. And even now, Garlinghouse is bringing it back up in interviews. He hasn't talked about that in years, right? Am I correct? So there's a reason why now he's beginning to talk about that once more, of competing with SWIFT. I don't think he actually wants to do that. Can they do that? Yes. Can they be better than SWIFT, dominate? Yes. I think it's to bring them to the table. I do. I think that's to make SWIFT shake and quiver a little bit and come to the negotiating table where Ripple can then put the pressure on them to either congeal with Ripple or use Ripple technology XRP. I believe that firmly, but this is how you do things. There's a little bit of shoulder shoving. There's a little bit of a battle at first. It's always that way. You have to show them that they need you, for lack of a better word. So anyway, so when you see something like this happening, it's one more move on the chessboard towards that global domination. This article is titled "Ripple Partners with Chipper Cash to Boost Payments in Africa Using XRP." Listen, when you add up all the different chess pieces, it's major. OK, you need to have Latin America for sure. For sure. People are going to undersell the importance of things like that. You have to have Latin America. You have to have Africa. OK, it goes without saying you must have the USA. We have the USA. I don't think that's a question. As many companies that Ripple has met with over the years, I'd be hard pressed to believe they don't have the USA in the back pocket. And then what was the article we read the other day? We covered a bunch of different Ripple articles and statements that have come out. They're doing interviews. They're very excited. They can't not tell you anymore. They're too excited. And in one of those articles, they were talking about the increased business that they're doing in the United States. Of course, they didn't name names. Notice they didn't name any names yet. When they've talked about increased business, when they've talked about increased interest, when they've talked about the so-called extra banks, unquote, unquote, they haven't mentioned any names, but they're still trying to let you know, which is unbelievable that people aren't more excited. How is this a small thing? This is not a small thing. This is huge. But hey, to each his own. I know how huge it is. To each his own. Not financial advice either. But things like this, it all plays into that. So other places, like I said, they already have them, I believe. They have USA. They have all the connections with China. That's major. They have a multitude of connections in Japan. These are key areas. They have all the various connections in Europe and the UK. They have a multitude of connections, banking connections, that we've read about over the years, firmly established in Australia. So you have to have these other places that have true global dominance. We don't need to talk about Switzerland and the things they've done up there with the custody, and custodying is going to be key. Look at everything that they're doing. Listen, if you start adding up all the value that could flow through the XRPL and XRP, it's mind blowing. This is why now, after so long, why now? After so long, you're seeing all of these predictions now where people are expecting a little bit higher price than they used to predict for XRP. They're starting to get a little bit more bold, a little bit more courageous, because they're starting to see hardcore evidence and they can't deny it. To each his own. I mean, you got to make up your own mind where you think the price is going to go, but I'm just showing that as possible evidence. There's more concrete evidence out here. It says here, Chipper Cash, which claims, look into this for yourself, all right? Which claims to have 5 million customers. It doesn't mean, even if they have 5 million, I will be realistic. It doesn't mean all of them will use the system, or consistently. Who knows? We have to wait and see. I'm a wait and see type of person. Like, show me. I'm a show me type person. Prove it to me. Well, they claim to have 5 million customers across 9 African countries. Now, another thing that just jogged my memory. Another thing about Africa, and this is originally why I say you have to have Latin America, you have to have Africa, and now United States. If United States is going to go on this trajectory where they're actually going to attempt to, how can I put it? I've been trying to choose my words very wisely lately and more accurately, or should I say precisely? But if they're going to, like they're saying they want to tap into their natural resources, okay? Bear with me. Come on. I'm a person like you. Hold on a second. Chill. Somebody out there's like, Mick, come on, Mick. They're saying they want to tap into their natural resources. If they do, folks, keep an eye on that, because tokenization has been on Ripple's agenda for the last 2 years, and they kept it quiet. They mentioned it a couple times. They were some of the first. When Ripple says something, they take it serious. When Ripple says something, they say it once, twice, 3 times, then they shut up and they get to work. They've been working on something. I think they're going to fully capitalize on tokenization, RWA tokenization. That has a lot to do with commodities, the value of commodities. All of it will be tokenized. It's going to be massive for whatever chains are involved. So yes, I think the USA, if they're going to do that, keep an eye on that. That could be major. That could be in play. But what we know 100% is in play, Latin America, Africa. They have untapped resources that they have made very clear that they want to benefit from that value. Once again, folks, they don't have to even dig it out of the ground. It's not even radar or LiDAR. There's a new type of technology that they're using, and I can't remember the acronym. Some of you might know it. There's a new type of technology, and it's a combination of technologies now that can look even deeper. It can look through some of the most solid ground structures like limestone. This is what they claim. I don't know if that's true. Listen, I don't use the technology. I'm just telling you what I've read. But they claim to use it recently to discover certain things. And they can look through these very hard substances to see what's beneath them. And I don't think they were able to do that before. That could be huge, because now you don't have to remove the stuff from the ground. You can just scan it, use the technology to estimate how much is down there, and tokenize that value where it is. Now, imagine, I'm 100% know Africa is going to do it. And there's no doubt in my mind that companies like Ripple know that possibility is very, very high, and they want to capitalize on it if the opportunity arises. Stellar is positioned there strategically. I don't care what they say. There's no reason that they're in a bunch of areas where there's massive amounts of untapped gold and resources. No, that just happens to be where you are. No, so I don't care what they say. I know what I see, and I trust myself more than I trust them. They're there also. But Latin America is also on the table as far as those types of things. We've seen them even try it years ago. Although they stopped. This is what they claim. They claim they stopped. They tested things and such. The results inconclusive as far as what they put out there. But they even did it with oil in Latin America. Oil. They were the first ones. This is strategic on many, many levels. Keep your eye on this now. Let me move on to another article. But that is very interesting to happen right now. So now we have this other information here. Things are going to get hot, in my humble opinion, middle 2025, maybe towards the end. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. BlackRock and Fidelity will join the XRP ETF race. Now, this is coming from Nate Garachi, so it's just one's opinion. but there's no way we're not getting an XRP ETF. The race for an XRP ETF in the US is gaining momentum, with major financial firms like BlackRock and Fidelity expected to join. Of course, listen, all of the big timers, the analysts, etc., and representatives from these big companies, it was in 2024, they made it clear that they believed that the next ones up will be Solana and XRP. That's the only ones I heard of a multitude of times. I don't remember if there's another. I just know Solana and XRP. And what we've been seeing lately is a massive push for Solana. So XRP has to be right behind. In my humble opinion, everything's going good for it. It says here, Nate Garachi, president of the ETF store, recently posted on X that XRP ETF approval is, quote, simply a matter of time. I agree with that, unquote. And it's more so that now than ever before, because XRP is in the clear, Ripple's in the clear, everything's in the clear. Crypto is getting the green light. The golden age is almost here. He stated that XRP is the third largest cryptocurrency without a stable, XRP is the third largest cryptocurrency without a stable coin. I think they mean without being a stable coin. Wait, what does he mean by that? I'm confused now. It says, well, without a stable coin by market capitalization. I don't know. I think that's a typo. They're confusing. They've confused me. Did they confuse you? Probably not, right? It says, and it is something appealing to large asset managers. He anticipates seeing companies like BlackRock, Fidelity, Bitwise, Canary Capital, Wisdom Tree, and Grayscale in the space. Of course, I agree with that also. Listen, folks, I don't proclaim to understand everything clearly all the time or the first time that I read them, although I do understand many things, right? However, BlackRock is indicated. When I smile like that, I'm like, I swear, I see my grandmother. My grandmother, I look so much like my dad, and my dad looks like a lot like my grandmother. And when I remember my grandmother, I don't know. I have all of these feelings, One is she was serious business. One, high intellectual. Number two, and she would always get on me. So every time I remember my grandmother, I remember her telling me, Mick, make sure you study. Mick, make sure you're doing well. Mick, make sure you're speaking properly. Man, she would get on you. I was watching every word I said when I spoke to my grandmother. Make sure I was speaking, quote unquote, properly. Anyway, I'm sharing with you, just like if we were chilling, relaxing. Anyway, it says, however, BlackRock has indicated that it is presently working on Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs because of the robust market performance and popularity. BlackRock's head of ETFs, Jay Jacobs, reiterated that altcoin ETFs such as XRP and Solana are not on the not on the agenda at present. Oh, that's coming from it's BlackRock. They're always going to say that. They don't want you to know what they're doing until they do it. But once they do it, they're going to talk about it constantly. That's how they do it. Look at the Bitcoin ETF. It says, nevertheless, analysts opine that BlackRock and Fidelity will not overlook XRP for too long. They can't. There's no way. But we're going to move on here. I want to move on to some raw Bitcoin news here. I want things positive to happen for XRP, like ETFs, etc. But that's not what excites me. That's not what excites me. That's not why I like XRP. That's not why I'm into XRP at all. I'm here for that bank money. That's it. Bank money. And that has not changed. Simple as that. So now, I'm going to read the articles here. Here on the side, they're editor's choice articles. Bitcoin price rally stalls as gold nears. We'll get to gold. My sweet, sweet gold. We'll get to that a little bit later. But this article here is titled Bitcoin price prediction. Markets bet Bitcoin won't go higher than $138,000 in 2025. All right. I don't know where Bitcoin is going to go, but I don't believe that. Rather, let me say this. I believe it could go much higher than 138,000. It depends. It depends. I don't even like the guesswork anymore, to be quite honest. I like to just know that this is potent and that I'm going to hold. That's the two things I need to know. Is it potent? Yes. And am I going to hold it for long enough for it to go to a desirable level. Yes, that's all I need to know. That's how I feel. It all boils down to that. For me, boils down to. That's not the only things that matter, but those are the quintessential things that I ask myself. It says Bitcoin bull market optimism has suffered for several months. Suffer for who? You said optimism. So this is based on people, right? Who? Because you don't speak for me. You definitely don't speak for me. My optimism hasn't suffered. So why do you say these things? Why do people speak this way and paint everybody with this broad brush? No, you paint those people. Why don't you just say for a certain segment of people, but you make it seem like for everybody, not for me. My optimism has only grown. Mr. Writer, will you account for people like me? It says Bitcoin bull market optimism has suffered for several months. Oh man, woe is me. And downside, Bitcoin price targets currently active on Polymarket now include a sub $60,000 swoon. I just don't like that way of thinking. Don't come with me if you don't expect to win. That's how I feel. Whatever we're going to do, you can be assured that if I'm involved, I believe I can win. I know I can win. And I'm fighting to the bitter end, And I don't require any support or catalyst. I'm going to fight to the bitter end. I believe what I'm saying. So I don't like this way of thinking of like, oh, it's like so at the beginning, you're positive on it, but then you just, what's the real negative catalyst for that? What's the real negative catalyst? So no true negative catalyst that's more powerful than any positive catalyst. And yet you just give up. You just say, oh, woe is me. It's over now. The optimism has eroded. I don't like that thinking. No, I'm going to swing for the fences until I get knocked out. And I don't believe I'm getting knocked out. I don't. I believe my skills, my intelligence, what I've done, my research, I believe that it's on the right path. I know it's on the right path. I worked hard. I've made sure to look under every single rock and measure and weigh and measure and weigh. And it all points to, at some point, I don't know about 138K. I don't care about those numbers. I just know that the potential is there for it to explode. And guess what? If you were one of those people that got into Bitcoin, not financial advice, but if you got into Bitcoin at $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, then let me tell you something. Even 138K is good. Is it bad? So I don't understand that thinking. No, you got to think like a winner. You have to know you're going to win, feel you're going to win, go to sleep thinking you're going to win. Dream about it. Write it on a piece of paper. Put it under your pillow. I'm not joking. If someone wants the victory or some circumstance wants the victory, I know how that sounds. Let it come take it. Come take it. Come take it. I'm not giving it to you. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up physically and I'm not giving up mentally. Come take it. Yeah, come take it. I'm going out on my shield every time. Every time I'm fighting to the bitter end. So it's a mentality. In my humble opinion, that's how I look at it. Anyway, I mean, you could disagree with that. Listen, I'm not here to give you my mentality and say, take this and be like, you're not, I'm me, you're you. I'm just expressing myself to you as you would do to me if we were in person. And some people do. Some people just come up to me right in public and shake my hand. I don't even know who this is until I realize like, oh, is this a person who watches the channel and they express themselves? So I'm just doing the same, All right. So now, quote, conservative, unquote, Polymarket users cap Bitcoin price upside at 60%. Bitcoin bull market projections have taken a beating this quarter, thanks to multiple setbacks impacting crypto and the wider risk asset spectrum. Wait a minute. But see, that's what I'm talking about. So you're acknowledging the negatives, but you're not acknowledging all these positives that have happened. The SEC pulling a lot of things back, being more positive, companies coming out, being more positive on crypto, companies being more active when it comes to partnerships and utilization, all this legislation, positive legislation for Bitcoin and crypto they're trying to pass. So you don't take that into account, but you only take the negative. We're not the same. We're not the same. So to each his own, I'm gonna leave that article right there. But may Bitcoin go intergalactic. Sorry about that. Mouth a little bit dry. May Bitcoin go intergalactic because all the positive catalysts are there. Simple as that. And once again, it depends on where you got in. If you bought in at 90,000, 100,000, maybe it doesn't seem like a lot to go to 138K. But most people, a lot of people got in during the bloody bear market. When no one else wanted to buy, they bought. So things are looking good for them even now. It's the same thing with a lot of these other crypto. A lot of people got in at a super low place when nobody else wanted to buy, they bought. When no one else believed, they believed. And now they reap the benefits of it. Same thing with gold, which we're about to cover right now. A lot of people didn't believe in gold. A lot of us did. Now look at where gold is going. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look at the price of where gold was 2.5 years ago. Just go take a look. A little quick AI search or Google search. It doesn't matter which one. And look at the prices back then. Now look at where gold is right now. Same thing. It just depends on where you got in. And they don't know where everyone got in. And you can't trust the media 100%, in my humble opinion, because they're ripe with the possibility of manipulation because they want to see their bag increase. And they know they have power. These media sites get so many views, it's unbelievable. So now, it's my humble opinion. I won't always speak that way, but I'm different on different days, just like you are. I'm not a pretender. A lot of people pretend that I'm the same every day. No, you're not. No, you're not. And some people are like, you changed. Like that's a negative. Change is the only constant. I'm not going to pretend. Every day I'm different. Every day, the substantial layer of Mick is the same, but there's always some changes, some growth. I'm growing every day. I'm working every day to grow, mostly in wisdom. Now, this article is titled Goldman Sachs Lifts Gold Forecast. Listen to this. We just read one the other day about Bank of America. I said it was going to go a little bit higher. I didn't think it was going to go this high. But hey, I'll take it. Goldman Sachs lifts gold forecast could get above, get this, $4,200 by the end of 2025. And they're saying this is an extreme case. All right. Let's read this little tidbit. I wanted to see if they gave the non-extreme case for them, but 4,200. I don't know where gold is going to go, except for it's going up. That's what I know. It's just too powerful, too potent right now. Everybody wants a piece of it. It says Goldman Sachs has raised its year in 2025 gold price forecast to, okay, so this is the regular estimation. The regular estimation is $3,300 per ounce, up from a previous estimate of 3,100. So that sounds pretty similar to what I said the other day. Yeah, I think 3,300 is reasonable, but it could go much higher. It definitely could. The investment bank also widened its projected trading range to $3,250 to $3,520, citing continued strong demand from Asian central banks. We were just talking about that. I told you. They're consistent buyers. You get to know a lot of these institutions over the years. Asian central banks are consistent buyers. And will they sell from time to time? Yes, they will. But the selling is outweighed by their consistent buying. Now, that buying is going to remain strong, in my humble opinion, because of a lot of different fiat currency problems, which no one is talking about because they're afraid of the consequences of talking about that. If you talk about certain countries' problems, they will be upset with you, and now you're going to have a problem conducting business here and there. You can have that problem for sure, depending on how you're speaking on it and how large your audience is. So a lot of people don't want to cover certain things. I'm not just talking about Asia. I'm talking about around the globe is like that. Some companies are like that, depending on what you say. So a lot of people aren't talking about these fiat currency problems. And let me tell you, Asia is not the only one that has fiat currency problems and has been protecting themselves with gold. But they're a consistent buyer. Now, when I think about ones who may sell consistently, they buy, but they sell consistently. And I have to get a checkup on them. It's like India, as an example. You're going to get some selling out of India, but they're going to buy once in a while. It's pretty consistent, but they're going to sell significantly as well. So just you start to know those certain things. But then when you level, I won't say level all of it out, but when you calculate everything, none of the selling is enough right now to bring that price down. The buying is just too much across the globe. Gold is super bullish right now across the globe. And I'll say this also, let me just squeeze that in here before the video gets too long. A lot of people are underestimating gold's little brother, silver. And I'll say this also. Folks. Keep your eye, and I said this maybe a year and a half ago, but then some things happened with it and it was doing really good, right? Some people benefit from that. Not financial advice. not financial advice. I'm just a humble researcher. I'll just say, look into copper. I'm just going to throw it out there. Look into copper. Look into what's happening with copper. Go on Google and do a little search, or I say Google, not AI. I say Google this time, or Yahoo, something like that. And do a search on who is going to be needing copper coming up in the next few years. Do that. You're going to see articles pop up. Give them a quick read. Could be something there. There could be something there. I'm just saying. All right. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the Monday.